It's Wednesday, May 6th, and it's time for your Barbados Today morning news update. The Barbados Secondary Teachers Union calls for a meeting with the Ministry of Education and wants those talks held by the end of the week. The union is seeking answers on a list of expectations for teachers administering online classes for the term. BSTU President Mariano Redman, who delivered a letter to the acting Chief Education Officer on the issue, revealed that the union is particularly concerned about at least 5 of the expectations.
Correspondence from the chief indicated that teachers now had to engage in synchronous face-to-face teaching only for at least 3 hours every day. Now, that is something that is untenable from a variety of standpoints. It is untenable in that it puts a burden. Anybody who has prepared an online class knows that it takes about 3 times. The time it takes to prepare the online class is about 3 times the actual length of the class.
Redmond said the ministry has not considered a number of factors when it gave teachers a 3-hour limit for online classes.
That they have to prepare their work because within the 9 to 3, teachers are supposed to, after the teaching, still make themselves available for students who may need extra attention and still make themselves available to parents who may have concerns. So the time that the teacher needs to sit down and create online lessons, given that at least 3-hour directive, is unreasonable.
PSV operators are being advised not to pick up commuters who are not wearing masks. Public Relations Officer of the Alliance Owners of Public Transport, Mark Haynes, says this is the best decision for operators in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, even though it might lead to reduced income. Haynes said, while wearing a mask is not mandatory, PSV operators needed to ensure their safety as well as those of their commuters.
What I suggested to them to do, I addressed in the part today, if they see a commuter and that commuter does not have a mask, leave the commuter. It sounds harsh, that because of how dangerous COVID is, we want to be responsible to one and all. You can't have one rule for one set of people and then having a different rule for another. So in an effort to get 250, you might end up losing a number of people. I'm saying that if that commuter does not have on a mask, just leave the person.
Barbados's bread and butter industry may have to recover without the help of one of its main source markets. With over 1 million people infected with COVID-19 and 70,000 deaths in the United States, Tourism Minister Kerry Simmons said that market may be closed to Barbados in the short term. The US is the island's second largest source market behind the UK.
It is a source of concern to me that we continue to talk, for example, with the United States of America, as we must, because it is our second most market. But the fact of the matter is that as recently as last night, the news was that they anticipate, while they have reopened several states, in fact, the vast majority of the states, they anticipate that death toll will double in the month of June from what it is right now in the month of May. And so therefore it is an unrealistic proposition to expect that we're going to be able to just fling open the doors to welcome the United States traveler in the way in which we might more easily have done 6 months ago. So while we have to be very guarded about certain markets, we have opportunities in other markets. And I think on a market-by-market basis, we're going to have to try to pick our way through this darkness in order to see how best we can ensure the survival of the country's interests.
The COVID-19 pandemic has dealt a harsh blow to the island's wine, beer and spirit industry. Speaking on behalf of the Barbados Alcohol Industry Association, Managing Director of Mount Gay Distilleries, Raphael Grisoni, said the interruption of nearly all tourism-linked businesses has impacted not only on the industry, but on its more than 3,000 direct employees. He made the comments as he welcomed the government's lifting of the ban on the sale of alcohol as part of Phase 2 of the national reopening strategy. He also urged Barbadians to drink responsibly.
We are really thankful to be able to have our employees back on the job so they can continue to provide for their families and also to be able to play part in stimulating the economy. However, we want to remind Barbadians to be responsible. Please follow the guidelines set out by government as it relates to the sale of alcohol only on licensed premises, as well as the prohibition of consumption on these premises. In other words, we should only be consuming alcohol in our homes during this time, not in rum shop or restaurants which are closed, or at parties or gathering. The ease for the industry will not only benefit manufacturers of alcohol beverage, including banks, West Indies Rum Distillery, Foursquare Rum Distillery, St. Nicolas Bay, and Mongay, but also the local distribution company that supply the product as well.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Regional developments now. We pick up with reaction in the Bahamas to the resignation of Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands over a decision to allow permanent residents to enter the country during the strict border closure. More in this report from ZNS News.
Minister of Education, the Honorable Jeff Lloyd, says the Bahamas lost a committed public servant, responding to Monday's abrupt resignation of Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Dwayne Sands. He tendered his resignation to Prime Minister the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis amidst brewing controversy over a decision he made to allow 6 American permanent residents into the country who brought in 2,500 COVID-19 test swab kits.
I'm very sad that, such a tremendously gifted, talented servant of the people who have contributed so much to this country over his lifetime, and as a member of this cabinet, as these turns of events. Naturally, I'm extraordinarily grateful to Dwayne Sands, who is my brother and friend, whom I love, respect, and admire tremendously, for his commitment to this country. I am greatly, and the country is indebted to him for his contribution.
The Progressive Liberal Party demanded Sands' resignation after he took responsibility for allowing what was at the time believed to be 2 American permanent residents into the country and allowing them to quarantine at home at a time when hundreds of Bahamians are stuck overseas with the country's borders ordered closed to passenger traffic due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
And finally, latest government figures show the UK has suffered more deaths from COVID-19 than any other country in Europe. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said 29,427 people have died from the virus.
29,427 lives lost is a massive tragedy, something in this country on this scale, in this way, that we've never seen before. And as I said before, my heart goes out to anyone that's lost a loved one. In terms of the comparison that you're suggesting, I, as the scientists have all said, can remember Patrick Vallance and Chris Whitty talking about this. I don't think we'll get a real verdict on how well countries have done until the pandemic is over, and particularly until we've got comprehensive international data on all-cause mortality. But I think there's 2 points that I'd make about the way the UK has approached things. There are different ways of counting deaths. As we know, we've had that debate in this country. We now publish data that includes all deaths in all settings, and not all countries do that, so I'm not sure that the international comparison works unless you reliably know that all countries are measuring in the same way. And it also depends on how good, frankly, countries are in gathering their statistics.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.